behind the scenes with future country rock blues kings and queens. Discover them first with Paul Mash TV. Paul Mash TV.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Paul Mash TV. We're glad that you could join us again today for another episode. And we'll get into our interview in just a moment, which is pretty awesome. But don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell here on YouTube, and you're always going to get the latest interviews whenever they become available. And feel free to check out the comment section and leave a comment, and also check out one of them because it's going to have links to our caps and t-shirts. And go to facebook.com/PaulMashTV. And feel free to like the page, inbox us, comment, everything to see. We'd love to hear from you there. And you can email us at PaulMashTV, all one word, at gmail.com. And we'd love to hear from you, whether you're a band or a solo artist. But if you're a fan, you can use that same email address. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget that we're on Roku, channel Small World TV, every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central. So check us out there. And also go to our website, www.mikmusic.net/PaulMashTV, and check that out. And we're going to recap all that at the closing credits at the end of the show, so stay tuned for that. In just a moment, we're going to have Lyle Manring. He's from Eatonton, Georgia, and another talented artist, and you'll see why later. But before we do that, let's have another quick word from ClickChant. Don't go away.
We got history, got me feeling the nostalgia when you look at me, thinking about what could.
Okay, everybody, it's interview time as usual, and here we got Lyle Manning from Eatonton, Georgia. Thanks for joining us, Lyle.
Appreciate you having me on. Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. We're glad to have you today. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how it started for you as being an artist? I mean, everybody has their own story, so let's hear your story.
Sure. I guess I have to go back to when I was younger. My father played music. Growing up, I always remember him having a guitar in his hand and playing at parties when I was old enough to go, whether it's just to hang out with the other kids at the party while the adults had their fun. I would just always remember him, having the guitar and being entertaining, and I guess that kind of stuck with me through the years. I know he played in the band when he was in high schools, and a lot of musicians and singers and songwriters in my family, especially on my father's side. But as well, my mom's side actually has some players as well. So it's kind of fed through the gene pool, I guess. It filtered down to me. And then, when I moved down to Georgia in 99, it was another way for me to kind of connect with my dad. I really started playing music, started playing guitar. I picked that up in 2002. And then shortly after that, started writing. I went to college for fine arts and design. So I've always had a creative side to me as a child and then through my adult years. So the natural progression from playing music and singing music was to start writing. And that's kind of where things took off. Once I learned to play enough chords on the guitar, I could start putting them together, and kind of used influences and saw how other artists were putting songs together, both lyrically and structurally from a music standpoint, and chordage and so forth, and kind of figured my way through it and fumbled my way through it for a few years. I was, I think my songwriting kind of got ahead of my talent as far as playing. I think it's still there. Playing the guitar is still not a strong suit for me. I rely heavily on my singing and my writing, and hope to be able to sing loud enough that people don't hear me mess up on the guitar too much. try to surround myself with people better than me. That's, you know, I've learned that early on in the process too.
Well,
So that's kind of where things stemmed, is the maturation of that is through my relationship with my dad. You can only golf so much, and I wasn't big on fishing, and that was a really good way for me to spend time with him and participate and enjoy that camaraderie.
mm. Well, that is a pretty good story there, Lyle. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Sure.
Watching, I know you mentioned influences earlier. What were some of your influences growing up that kind of influenced you in your songwriting and singing abilities?
You know, I was always someone who was gravitated towards the storytellers. You have artists that cut storyteller songs. And then you have the great storytellers themselves, people like Johnny Cash, who also you cut like Chris Christopherson music, and then you have Willie Nelson and these guys that, and even guys like Roger Miller and Marty Robbins, one of the great balladeers ever, Marty Robbins. He had I think he's probably one of the most underrated country music vocalists there ever was. He got some notoriety back in his heyday in the 70s and 80s, but I just think vocally he had a lot to offer, and some of his gunfighter ballads were just amazing. They grabbed your brain and they took it on this journey, this visual journey through words, and that to me resonated more than anything. So when I started writing, that's kind of what I had in mind, and maybe it stems from the fact that I was a visual artist. I took and put pen and brush to paper and canvas to create a visual image. So in my mind, if I can create that visual image with words, like the aforementioned, that's how I wanted to finalize, my style. I say, if I can tell that story and make people understand what's in my head, if I can get that out, then I've made a connection. And if I can make the connection, then now you're starting to build on something, just like you would with a visual art. It's easy to see it in your brain, but it's hard to get it out on the paper or in written form, especially because you only have so many words, you only have so much time. So that I found that to be a very fulfilling art form, even more so than the visual arts that I had growing up as a child and then through college and so forth. I actually have really gravitated more toward the songwriting and gotten away from the visual arts.
Okay, yeah, and those are legends too, especially Roger Miller and Slim Whitman. I mean, I like a lot of their music, and obviously you can't go wrong with Willie Nelson and Chris Christopherson, all those you mentioned.
Well, it's easy to gravitate toward the big names, and it's sometimes you get into there's guys that a lot of people aren't real familiar with, like John Schneider, for example. Dukes of Hazzard, Bo Duke had some amazing music. People are not realize, unless you kind of grew up in the right era and knew who he was. A lot of people don't know the music he put out. There's some really good musicians out there and I think that's why I'm gravitated towards the indie artists now too, starting to jump in and start to listen more. One, because I am one now, and two, just because the good music that is actually out there that people have no idea is floating out there, just hitting under the radar because it's not in the mainstream.
Right. And as far as your music is, if somebody wanted to go to a streaming place or even wanted to buy your CDs, where would we go to do that?
Sure. I'm streaming on all the major digital outlets, Spotify and iTunes, Apple Music, Google Play, all the major outlets. I'm available. And the website, you can go to lylemanring.com. There's links for everything on there, including the CDs. They're pushed through Amazon Music. Right now, it's just a 6-song collective. It's basically I only did 6 because that's all I can afford to do right now. Yeah, I did 2, 1 originally, and then I did 2 a few months later last year, and then I've done 3 this year. So I just kind of slowly building things up, and then did the video that we were talking about earlier. So it's just kind of self-funding, self-promoting, and as I build the coffer up, I get a few more songs under my belt, and then I'll release them out as singles. But it's right now that's the best place to go. And then obviously you can go to YouTube. I've got songs out there where there's either the full video like with Redneck in Training, or I have photo montages that go along with some of the others that are actually fully produced. And then there's just a bunch of me sitting around with the guitar, doing a bunch of original stuff that I haven't had a chance to get in studio. So that's pretty much anywhere you can think to look. I'm there. I've even got my stuff on TikTok. So if people want to utilize my music and do something crazy behind it, that's available there. There's also SoundCloud. I think I'm there. Reverb Nation. So like I said, if you can think of it, I'm there. If not, let me know and I'll put it there.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Everybody get out there and get Lyle Manring songs. I'm sure he'd love you for that.
And, sure would. Thank you.
And speaking of that, just a moment ago, you mentioned Redneck in Training, and that's actually the video we're going to show in just a minute here. Is there a story behind that, or is it self-explanatory? Maybe you could let us know.
No, there's definitely a story behind it. It's funny because it's that whole song from front to back is a true story. Every line in that is either my personal experience from moving here, or there's a good friend of mine. He's actually the inspiration behind the song. He is the redneck, and the guy that moved next door to him, he moved down from Atlanta, and he was a city, I think West Atlanta. He was a lawyer, moved down, was always a big city guy. And Bobby was born and raised in the country, kind of took him under his wing and was showing him the area and everything. And we would get together and play music, and he kind of brought the guy around everybody and was showing showing Southern hospitality and inviting him into his world, so to speak. And he said, yeah, Bobby's my mentor. He says, I'm a redneck in training. And as soon as I heard that, I jotted that down that night and went back to it. And I knew it was something that could be good as far as a storyteller's song. And like I said, the song really kind of wrote itself. The back porch pickings and the fighting, and you get in it was a family quarrel between him and his brother one night, and it's so all these little things that kind of that pop up in the song were just events that took place in everyday life and in these little get-togethers, musical get-togethers, and so forth that we had. There was also there's a part in there at the end about the hound dog. That's something that's personal to me that I had to add toward the end. And so it's kind of a culmination of my experiences and this other guy's experiences, kind of all wrapped into one. But yeah, every bit of that song is true. I didn't have to embellish anything.
Well, I know everybody's looking forward to watching that. We'll get to that in just a moment, but I think that's all we really need for right now. Lyle, I want to thank you again for coming on the show. We'd love to have you back sometime if you got anything to plug for us. Yeah,
I'd love to. Hopefully, if Redneck in Training takes off and I can get some good views pushed through YouTube and maybe start getting a little return on my investment, it would be nice. I'd love to go ahead and do another one. I've got one or two that I'm probably got a coin flip between a couple of them that I'm which one I want to go to next, but we'll see. I've got a pretty good ballot out there that may take precedence. So that's kind of what we're shooting for. Like I said, make money from one to try to pay for the next. So if you guys like it, please share, subscribe, and hit those like buttons and help me out all you can. I sure would appreciate it. And check me out on Facebook as well. Stop by, say hello. I'm pretty good about getting back with people. I try to spend at least an hour or two a day on social media trying to keep track of anybody and everybody that wants to say hi or get in touch with me and ask questions or just to respond to things that are comments that they've made. So I'm pretty accessible at this point. So.
Okay. All right. Well, let's get right to the video. Here's Lyle Manring with Redneck in Training right here on Palm Ash TV. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Thanks.
City life had me at my wit's end, so 6 months ago I made a decision to move down south for some easy country living. It's a culture shock, to say the least. I just couldn't believe all the things they'd eat, like grits and gravy and pickled pig's feet. I met a guy that lived just up the road. He said, I'll tell you all you need to know. It's time you learn how to take life nice and slow. Well, stick with me, son, and you'll be fine. You just gotta take it one day at a time. Well, I'm a work in progress, and it's an uphill climb. I'm learning new things to do and say. It's a brand new adventure every day. Life is different in the southern states, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I got a back porch with a Georgia flag hanging, sitting with friends, picking and singing. I'm a redneck in training. It's been a month and I'm starting to adjust. I even found an old pickup with a little bit of rust and a sticker for my bumper that says redneck or bust. He told me I needed to find my roots, so I bought me a hat and a new pair of boots. Yeah, I sure like the looks of my new southern suit. I've even gone hunting a couple of times. I went catfishing in the dead of the night, and I'm learning how to drink Jack Daniels over ice. Well, we all get together on Saturday nights, and some pick guitars, others pick fights, but we don't stop till the early morning light. I'm learning new things to do and say. It's a brand new adventure every day. Life is different in the southern states, but I wouldn't have it any other way. I got a back porch with a Georgia flag hanging, sitting with friends, picking and singing. I'm a redneck in training. Lounging on the dock in the cool night air with a drink in my hand like I don't have a care. My feet up on a cooler and my butt in a red lawn chair. I got a hound dog laying here by my side, so get in your car and take you a ride way out in the country and let me be your guide. 'Cause I've learned some new things to do and say. It's a brand